Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Vibe Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. Thank you for clicking on this video. If this is your first time on my channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button to subscribe and also put on your notification bell so that you get notified once I post a new video. In this video, we're going to be learning how to make this lovely bustier with asymmetric yoke and bishop collar. I hope this is what you're interested in learning. So without wasting much of your time, and before we proceed, let me talk about the down part. I also made a detailed video on how to achieve this down part that is draped. So just in case you haven't seen that video, I'm going to be dropping the link in the description box so that you can check it out later. So in this video, we're actually learning how to make a bustier with asymmetric yoke and bishop collar. So let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you so much.
My princess armhole bustier. This is my side piece and this is the center piece. So just in case you don't know how to draft and cut a princess armhole bustier, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. I don't want this video to be longer than it is, so you can check that out later. So now I've cut my lining and these are my side pieces. Can you see my side pieces? And this is my center piece. So I'm going to be creating the sweetheart neckline that the bustier has under. Remember, we have an asymmetric neckline at the upper, that's asymmetric yoke at the upper part, and here on the bustier I have a sweetheart neckline. I use the neckline of 3 inches by 3 inches, 3 inches in depth and 3 inches in width. So now from my 3 inches I'll place my tape like this and mark 6.5. So from the side here, I'll come down by 4 inches. I want to leave ½ inch here that I'll be using to turn the neckline of the lining. That's for both lining and fabric. So I'll come down by 4 inches here. So can you see? So I have about 3/4 of an inch remaining here. So I haven't marked my points. Now I'll just go ahead and use my armhole curve to create this curve. So you can see that I have my sweetheart neckline now. So I'm just going to bring in my scissors and cut. So here we are. So this is what we have. So I've gone ahead to cut my Ankara fabric and I've also applied my hasty and I've padded it already. You see, this is my center piece and these are my side pieces. And then you can see we have already shown us the lining. So like I said earlier, if you don't know how to draft and cut an armhole princess bustier, please click in the link in the description box so that you can see a video on how to do that. I don't want this video to be too long or longer than it is already. So now we can keep this aside. I'll bring in my pattern so that I can show us how to cut yoke now. So this is my center piece here, and this is also the side piece. So here is my bust point. Can you see? So I'm just going to place it this way. You want to tape them together like this.
So as you can see, I've taped my patterns together, and I also went ahead to fold my lace into 2. I've traced out the neckline and the armhole. So now this is the bust point. Can you see? I'm folding up my pattern paper exactly on the bust point line. I want to cut my yoke to stop at that bust point line because I want this yoke to stop 1 inch above the nipple point. So you can see I'm cutting directly on the bust point line. So this is what we have. Can you see that this is what we have here? Can you see what it looks like? So this is what I'll be using to achieve my asymmetric yoke.
This is what my bustier looks like. So can you see, this is what I want to achieve with my yoke. I want the yoke to be down, that's to touch the bust point. So here is the bust point here. Can you see? So you want to just place it well so that everything aligns. Of course, when I sew, I'm going to have excess that I'll trim out. So this is the side I want to make the bust point, that's to be on the bust point, which is here. And then this side, I want it to be shorter. So now this is what we're going to do. From this side that I want to make it shorter, I will come down by 5 inches from the shoulder line. You see? So I'm going to connect this 5 inches to this bust point here. That's from here to here. Of course, here we can leave it straight, but this is what I want from here to this point that I have the bust point. So I'm just going to use my, you see? So where our sweetheart neckline is above it. So we want to make our yoke come down below the neckline. So I'm just going to put my scissors under and cut. Okay. So this is what my asymmetric yoke looks like. You see? So I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine, join the fabric to fabric, lining to lining, and then I'll show and turn the neckline. Then I'll show us how to place our yoke, and then we'll go ahead and cut out the collar. So I've sewn my printed armhole bustier and I've given it a very nice press. Can you see? This is what it looks like in front. Can you see how it's sitting well? Dress is coming out already. This is what it looks like on the reverse side. Everything is so neat. You see? So like I said, if you don't know how to achieve this, I have posted videos on how to make an off-shoulder princess armhole bustier, which is this is close to it. And I also posted a video on how to make a princess armhole bustier also. I'll be dropping all the link in the description box so that you can check it out. So now it's time for us to place our yoke. Remember that when we were cutting our yoke, I placed it to stop on the bust point. I didn't add any allowance to it. So from shoulder to bust point of my client is 10.5. So if I didn't add any allowance to it, that means I'm going to be short of half inch, which is what I have used to join my front and back together. You can see that I have fixed my zipper at the back. I've sewn my darts. This is what my back piece looks like. Everything is also coming out very beautiful. My back is just a basic back. So our area of concentration is on the yoke and on the draped part of the skirt, and then our asymmetric yoke. So right now I've used half inch to join my yoke to the back piece. So can you see? This is the longest part of my bustier. You see, and I've also trimmed out the excess because I've joined the bustier. So can you see? So I'm going to be placing my tape from here. That's from this shoulder point. That's the highest point of the shoulder. Can you see where my 10.5 is, which is 10.5 is, which is my client's nipple point. So can you see that? So this is where my yoke will start from, just about half of an inch above her nipple point. Can you see? Can you see how then it will connect to this side? I hope you understand. This is her nipple point, so you can see starting about half of an inch above the nipple point. So because I don't want to sew on the nipple point so that it doesn't dent it, I want it to come out really well. So that's why I'm coming up here. That's why I didn't add any allowance to my yoke. So by sewing this, I've taken my allowance, and then this will be my half inch allowance here too. So I'm just going to pin at this point, and then I'll shift in, pressing my bustier like this so that I can pin also. Can you see? So I'll pin here.
I can see here stopping just very close to the tip here. So can you see that? So then let me turn it to this side now. So can you see what our yolk is looking like? It's coming out really, really nice. You see our asymmetric yolk. So now I'll take this to my sewing machine and then sew it this way. So you want to make sure that you push in the bustier like this so that you can sew it in. And then I'll place my Dubai bias. That's what we call it here in our local market. I'm going to be placing my Dubai bias to cover up this place so you can see it's serving as an embellishment. It's decoration, isn't it looking beautiful? So I'm going to stitch my yoke down first, and then I'll go ahead and place my bias and then stitch it this way and then this way on both sides to hold it firmly. Then I'll come back and show us how to cut our collar. So can you see what my yoke looks like? Can you see after sewing my bias on it? Can you see? It's really beautiful. And this is our neckline, our sweetheart neckline underneath. You see what it looks like? And then of course I've joined the front and back together. So now it's time for us to cut our collar. And remember, it's a turtleneck collar. Turtleneck in the sense that the down part of this collar is wider than the upper part so that it fits perfectly. So in this case we are doing the turtleneck collar. So first I'm going to measure the neck width. So can you see? So here, this is what I have. I'm measuring it on fold. You see, everything I have here is 9 inches. So that's 18 inches. Of course, it's on fold. So that's 18 inches in all. I got 9 inches. So times 2, that's 18 inches. So I'll bring in my Ankara fabric. Here is my leftover fabric to cut the collar. Can you see how my fabric is? So I'm going to fold it to create a bias shape. As can you see, this is what it looks like. I want to create a rectangular shape. So you can pick this way. Let me do this way. Or you can pick the other way like I did. So once I do that, I'm going to press it to relax. So remember I said that the neck width I got was 18 inches in all. So I'll place my tape here and see. So where can I get my 18 inches? At this point, I have exactly 18 inches, meaning I don't have a sewing allowance. So I'm going to come down here. Now I have 10 inches, that's plus my sewing allowance. So I'm okay with this point here. I'm okay with this point here like this. So you want to take the measurement, what you have from the apex of this your triangle. You want to confirm what length do you have here. This is about 13 inches. If you place it this way, it's also about 13 inches. Here is 12.5. So I'm going to mark round. I'll use the length I have here, which is this 12.5 here. I'm going to mark round on that 12.5. Like the way we mark for our flare. So I'm marking 12.5. Can you see? Why am I marking with 12.5? Can you see as we are going down, it's beginning to deepen itself because I'm creating a circle, like a circle shape, right? So I'm marking 12.5, 12.5, and then 12.5. So now after marking my 12.5, let's go ahead and measure the length the width of this shape. So placing your tape like this. So can you see that to this point now I have about 10 and 3/4. So this has a way of giving you your extra allowance. So this is fine. I can always trim out my excess. So now I have this curve here. I'll go ahead and mark the length of this collar. The length of this collar plus sewing allowance and everything, I'm going to be using 2 inches plus my sewing allowance. So instead of marking downwards, now I'm going to mark upwards. This is to achieve the turtle neckline so that it is smaller at the upper part of the collar. So can you see? So I've marked my 2 inches upwards. So I'll bring in my scissors and cut it out. So of course you can see that the down part of the collar is wider than the upper part. Can you see that the upper part is giving me 8.5 and the down part gave me 10 and 3/4. That's plus sewing allowance. So that's it. So the upper part is smaller. So I'm just going to place it on this side so that I can cut the second one that will serve as the lining. So I want to just trim out this excess that we have here. You see, I'm tracing out the exact shape here. Remember that my fabric is still folded on bias. So can you see that I now have 2 of them. One will serve as the lining and the other will serve as the main fabric. So I'm going to apply my medium weight gum stay to this and then show us the next thing to do. So I've ironed my gum stay to the fabric. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine now. I'll sew on 1/2 inch this way. Sew the 2 of them on 1/2 inch on the upper part, not on the lower part. I'll sew it on 1/2 inch and come back and show us. Can you see my collar? I've sewn the upper part and then I notched it and turned it to the right side to iron it. Can you see what I have right now? So you will realize that I folded this part. That's I pressed this part. I went ahead to fold just a little less than an inch. That's like 1/8 of an inch less than 1/2 inch. Sorry, 1/8 of an inch less than 1/2 inch. That's like I used 1/4 inch plus a bar. That's plus 1/8 of an inch. That's like almost 0.4, not 0.5. I hope you understand. So I folded it in on one side and then I left this side. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'll get the center by folding it this way and then I'll notch it, and then I'll also get the center of my dress, and notch it also. So once I knot that, I'll open down the zip and then place this part. Can you see the side of the collar that was not folded? Can you see this side that I didn't fold is the side I'll be doing this. So I'll pin it like this. That's I'm pinning it now from the reverse side of the cloth. That's from the wrong side of the cloth. You can see this is the right side of the cloth. So I'll pin it this way. So can you see that I have my sewing allowance showing up here? What I'll be using to turn the neck, there's the collar. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the same thing. I'll also pin it to this side and I'll show us. After pinning my collar to the neckline, so now next I'll take to my sewing machine and then sew it on that seam allowance. This seam allowance I left here, I'm going to sew it all the way to this side. Then once I'm done sewing it, I'll flip it this way. Can you see? By the time I've sewn it, it will be like this. It will be like this on top of the outfit. Then I'll flip it this way. Can you see? So you can see that this side that I folded is shorter, right? So I'm going to now sew this place like this straight. You can see, of course, this is my sewing allowance here. I'll trim out my excess. So I'll now sew this place this way like this. And then also come here too. After I must have sewn to this part, I'll flip it this way like this. You can see this part that is folded. Of course, it's shorter than this part. And then I'll sew it this way. Then I'll show us what we have before we go ahead and top stitch it. So here is our collar. Can you see? I've sewn it to the neckline and I've sewn this side. So I've also trimmed out my excess. So now this is what we'll do. I'll just hold it this way and push it in like this. You see? So I've also done the same thing here. So you can see that pushing it out also very well. So now you want to pin this part. You see? So now you can see that this part of the collar now is covering all my stitches. So I just want to pin it a bit hard because my gum stay. Okay. So can you see? So now I've pinned my neckline. Can you see what my collar is looking like already? So I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch it down. I'm going to be stitching here round till I get to this end. Then I'll shape this dress and show us what we have and fix the sleeve and show us what we have. So here we are, we're done with our dress and the outcome is really beautiful. I made a structured sleeve for this dress. Can you see what the sleeve looks like? It came out really beautiful. So if you would like to see how I made this sleeve, make sure to subscribe and put on your notification bell so that you get notified once I upload the video on how to achieve this beautiful structured sleeve. So this is what our asymmetric yoke looks like. Can you see how our sweetheart neckline is sitting underneath? Our collar is sitting really pretty. Everything came out so beautiful. I also made a detailed video of how to achieve the down part of this gown. It drapes and then with my nicely put together embellishment or pieces on it. Can you see how the down part is? Everything just came out beautiful. I've already posted the video on how to achieve this down part. I'll be also dropping the link in the description box so that you can check it out just in case you haven't seen this. So if you learned a thing or two from this video, please make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.